Hello again, this is John Hauser with Free Advice. And I'm here in my little office. Some later video, I'm going to give you an explanation of where my office is located and how I came to be. How I came to be in this little room that's attached to the garage. But that's not why I'm here now. Here this morning, I'm here to talk to you about wisdom, how to get wisdom, how to acquire wisdom, how to become a world-class intellectual. Yes, that's right. That's what I said. How to become smart. Now, I actually do claim to be relatively smart, and I claim to be I can't hardly talk. Relatively intelligent. You'll find that my videos are mostly unedited. I mean, I just hit the button and start recording. Now, I want to read you some words here that if you'll take these words and apply these words and go to the source of these words, you can actually become smart and smarter. I once read a book, and the name of the book was How to Be Twice as Smart. I read the book, but I've also read the book that I have in my hands. And I want to just share a little bit with you. It starts out, so I have to look down. You'll have to excuse me. I know you're not supposed to look down when you're... I'll try holding it up high. Maybe I get a better angle. How's that? I'm thinking as I go along. So you can see I've started this YouTube channel. I started it January 1 of this year. And I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm learning. And I suggest you learn too. I watch videos by Old Mike. What a great guy. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. Yep, king of Israel. And notice what he says. To know wisdom and instruction, to understand words of insight. Now, what does he mean when he says words of insight? That means to know how something works on the inside. I'll give you an example. For many years, I was a sales contractor. Now, unless you're a sales contractor, you have no idea what that means. Now, as a sales contractor, I worked for different companies. So in the last company I worked for, I sold floor covering, hardwood, tile, LVT, laminate, you name it. I sold anything that went on the floor. I sold it. But in order to sell those kind of products, you have to have the knowledge of those kinds of products. You just don't walk in there and pick up a few boards and go out and try to sell some hardwood. It doesn't work that way. You've got to have, like Solomon says here, you've got to have wisdom, instruction, to understand, and to have insight. You've got to have inside knowledge on how those products work. You've got to have inside knowledge of that business. You've got to have inside knowledge of the fundamentals of that business, how much you can sell it for, starting with what did I pay for it? How much can I sell it for? What's my profit margin? How much money do I make? How much do I pay the installers? This is called insight. This is insight, learning the inside information about a product, a service, a business. If you go to church, like I go to church every week. I know you find that hard to believe. But one of the things you want to find out when you go to church is you want to find out, what is this church about? Is this a Baptist church? Is this interdenominational church? And the only way you find out is you've got to read their documents, and you've got to go in there and you've got to listen to the pastor and listen to some sermons and decide, is this church for me? That's getting insight. And this insight applies to anything that you're going to do. Let's say that your doctor says that you have a medical condition that you have never heard of. The very first thing that the very first thing that you should start doing is to do some research about that condition and start getting insight. Learn about it. Find out, are there any natural remedies? Will diet and exercise help? Will eating raw carrots help? You want to get some insight as to as to what this thing is, and then maybe possibly you can take action. So he says to know wisdom and instruction, to understand the words of insight, to receive instruction in wise dealing, in righteousness, justice, and equity, to give prudence to the simple. My goodness, we live in a world today with so many people walking around that are so simple-minded. They get tattoos on their face. They get a ring here. They get a ring here. They get a piercing here. I get a piercing there. Why? What's the mentality here? What's the mentality that these people can't understand what they're actually doing themselves? Really, you see these beautiful women, and then they turn this way and they got a tattoo all on their neck. I know I've talked about tattoos before. It's one of my pet peeves. I think it's a pagan practice. I don't think you should do it. Matter of fact, the book that I'm reading says no marks on your body, no tattoos. Okay. To let the wise hear and increase in learning. To let the wise hear and increase in learning. And the one who understands obtain guidance. To understand a proverb and a saying, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. If you want to become smart, if you want to become educated, if you want to become a world-class intellectual like me, read this book. I have read tons of books over the years. This is always the starting book to start with. This book will give you more knowledge, more insight. I mean, it tells you about your married life. It's very detailed and very graphic about your married life. It tells you about your business life. It tells you about eternal life. So this is John Hauser with free advice from 76 years. Read the book. Let's see, I got to push this button to get this thing to stop. And you can tell I'm still learning.